Hello, everyone. Hope all of you are doing great. Welcome to the chapter number 11 that's on identifying and avoiding the triggers of the anaphylactic shock. So, let's begin with the food allergens, which are the leading cause of anaphylaxis, especially in children. The most common offenders include peanuts and tree nuts like almonds and walnuts. Shellfish and fish are also the frequent triggers, along with milk, eggs, soy sauce, and wheat, etc. For those with the severe allergies, even the trace amounts of these foods can provoke a life threatening reaction. And we have to keep this in mind. Label reading, food preparation, awareness, and clear communication when eating out are all vital precautions that you can give to your patients and educate them about. Next on the list are medications, which are another common trigger for the anaphylactic shocks in people. Penicillin and related antibiotics are on the top of the list, followed by NSAIDs like aspirin or ibuprofen, etc. And you know what? Chemotherapy drugs and newer biologics or monoclonal antibodies can also cause severe reactions in some individuals. While it's very rare, even vaccines may trigger anaphylaxis in sensitive individuals. So, you have to advise your patients to always disclose their full allergy history before taking up any new medication, and they can bear a medical ID if necessary. And then one of the very common reason for the development of anaphylactic shock could be the insect stings, particularly from bees, wasps, and hornets or fire ants even. They can trigger the rapid onset of anaphylaxis. The venom these insects inject can cause swelling, they can cause hives, in some cases, a full body allergic response as well. People with a known sting allergies should always carry an epinephrine auto-injector and they avoid the high-risk outdoor areas during the peak season. Then we have the latex. So latex is a less obvious but serious allergen for many of the patients. It is commonly found in the gloves, it is found in balloons, it is found in certain medical and dental equipments as well. And latex can trigger the life-threatening reactions in sensitive individuals. Healthcare workers, patients with frequent medical procedures, and those with a history of multiple allergies are most at risk. Look for the latex free alternatives whenever possible if your patient is a known allergic. Preventing the exposure to the triggers is key to avoiding the anaphylactic reaction. So, one thing we always have to advise to our patients is that preventing the exposure to the trigger is the only key to avoid the anaphylactic reactions. They have to start by carefully reading the labels and ingredient list on all the products they would ever be using. And they always have to inform the doctors and pharmacists about their allergies first before taking any drug or a medication. And a medical alert bracelet or a necklace can also be used to speak for them in the emergency conditions. And they can carry an epinephrine auto injector if it is prescribed and know how to use it. And they have to avoid the outdoor settings where insects are present and opt for the latex free products whenever it's possible for them. Because you never know, their body can react to anything that could be possible. These small steps can make a big difference in their lives and they will help them stay safe. I know. It was a lot to absorb in all of the previous slides, and we have a quiz to make you actively recall on all the parts we have studied for a better understanding. So, question number one is, what is the most common food trigger for anaphylaxis? And as we have already studied, the peanuts are the most common cause of the development of the anaphylaxis. Other causes of the development of anaphylaxis could include the dairy products, they could include eggs, they could include wheat, they include soy, they include latex. So basically, anything and everything, anywhere and everywhere can trigger someone's reaction. And the next question is, which of the following is not a common insect sting that trigger for anaphylaxis? So we have some common ones listed here like honeybee, like wasp, like mosquito. And then we have something which is not very common in insect bites, and that's known as a fire ant. And then what type of medication is most commonly associated with anaphylaxis? Now, if we recall it correctly from that drug slide, there were several options that were mentioned there, which included antacids, antihistamines, pain relievers like NSAIDs, ibuprofen, aspirin, etc. And then we had something that was mentioned initially in the slide, which are antibiotics. And yes, these are the most commonly associated with anaphylaxis and drugs or medication category. And what type of antibiotics specifically? So these are penicillins. Then we have what is the step in identifying the potential trigger in a patient with anaphylaxis? And we have several different options. One could be administering a broad spectrum antibiotic, another could be immediate testing for all the allergens a patient could be allergic to, and then we have skin biopsy to identify the allergies. And then if we look at the options closely, the option B and C are something that would take time. Do we have time? No, we have to immediately act and we have to act fast. So, what we can do, we can take a detailed patient history from someone who came with the patient. We can talk about allergens, we can talk about the immediate exposure of the patient, etc. And that should be a first step in identifying the potential trigger in a patient who has stabilized. You have to take a history, you have to talk about what happened to the patient after the initial resuscitation and after stabilizing the patient. So that's very important. And then we have what's the key method for avoiding the food related anaphylaxis. And then we have several different options again, which is relying on antihistamines when you are eating out. Can you take antihistamines every time with you? Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you are too engaged with the conversations. You are too engaged with the people you are eating out with, and taking antihistamine would feel like a task to you. So that's not always possible. Then you can do eating at home only. Can you do that? You sometimes have to go with your friends. You have to go enjoy with your family. You can't stay home and eat everything at home all the time. So that's also not possible. Then we have avoiding all the packaged foods. In today's era, is that even possible when we are always using the processed foods? Sorry if it feels like a podcast now. So then we have the correct option, which is reading the food labels and asking about the ingredients when you are dining out. And that feels like a possible thing when you can ask the waiter what could be in that dish, and you can read the food labels whenever you are using a packaged food. So you don't feel stuck, you don't feel bound, but you can manage your life effectively and take it easy. So that's it from this chapter. We will see you in the next chapter very, very soon. Have a nice day.